What's up guys, I'm Dylan Hightower and today I'm going to teach you guys how to fakie inward heel. Now before you guys learn this trick, you guys need to learn two tricks. That is pop shove it and heel flip. Now that you got those two tricks down, you guys are ready to learn fakie inward heels. Now for this video, I'm going to teach you guys fakie inward heels in 5 different steps. That is setup and positioning, mechanics, the front foot explained, body weight, and then common errors. As for foot positioning for the fakie inward heel, you're going to want your front foot about an inch or two past down the bolts a little bit, and your back foot in the bottom right corner. I use this foot positioning because any further down this way, it'll flick way faster, and any more this way, you'll get a slower flick. So when you're learning it, you could mess around with this, but I like it right in the middle of that, and it seems to get like it's the median flip, you know. And the back corner, this back pocket, I use that for my inward heel foot positioning because it helps get that scoop, and it kind of like brings the board up a little bit, so when you do go for the flick, it goes a lot faster. Because when you're flicking the inward heel, it's like a perfect timing type of trick. Like as you're scooping it, you gotta flick it before it comes around, otherwise your own flick will stop the rotation of the board. Alright, now as for how to do this trick, you already got your foot positioning down. So now how to do this trick, starting off, well, first of all, you're going fakie. The first part of it is the scoop. You're gonna start to scoop it, and it's just like a regular pop shove. That's why I told you need your pop shove start, because this is where this part comes important. It's just a regular scoop. Your foot, you don't scoop it any certain direction, just straight back. And as you're scooping it straight back, your board will start to rotate this way, but with your front foot, you're gonna start flicking it back once it starts to come around, and you're gonna want to start flick it right as before it goes 90 degrees. The flick is probably the most important part of this trick, because the pop shove it, you just scoop it and it's, you know, it's easy. The scoop part, the flick part's the hard part. The way I do it, when I first learned this trick, I started flicking straight out, and my legs were just going straight back and forth. But now I've been changing it up, and I flick the scoop the same, but my front foot, I kind of curve it around like it's a little hook shot, but it doesn't really, you know, you'd think that, but it doesn't really happen. You end up just going straight back. That front foot, it's gonna flick kind of straight back at an angle, so like when the board's coming around, you start flicking it like kind of diagonal. So you gotta make sure to flick it, and you gotta catch this corner, but you gotta catch it before it reaches 90 degrees. So like, picture this. This is what a common error I see when people are starting to learn this trick, and I kind of did this a couple times when I was learning it, and I still do it a couple times. When I'm mid like rotation and mid flick, if I flick it too late and the board's already coming around, and I start flicking it, let's say about right now, it's gonna stop the rotation because it's going this way. You're flicking it right here. You're only gonna get about like that. So don't do that. You gotta start flicking a little bit early, about right now, like right as soon as you start rotating it. This trick is a fast trick, and if you don't rotate and flick fully committed, I mean, I guess you could stick out like a front foot, line it with one foot, you can learn it like that, but for the most part, when you're learning this trick, it's like all or nothing. That's what I've kind of realized. As for body position and body weight, for the fakie inward heel, you're gonna like kind of just experiment for yourself. If you lean too far forward, the board's gonna go behind you a little bit. I mean, you could land them, but it's just a little more difficult. I mean, if you go too far back, you're probably gonna slip out, or the board's gonna be too far in front of you. You gotta stay centered for the most part and stay right on top of it, maybe a little bit on the tail. Alright, for common errors, I'm gonna go over a couple errors. I'm gonna go over the main ones and a couple very few that, like, you know, a couple people might have. I'm gonna go over lean too far forward, too far back, either side to side, or an improper flick or scoop. Alright, that was an example of leaning too far forward. I know that it's like super exaggerated and looks kind of funny, but like, if you're having this problem and it looks anything close to it, like this could be a possible solution for you. Well, obviously, if you're leaning too far forward, center yourself, lean back a little bit more, and you can experiment with that. But it also might be because you're focusing too much on the scoop, and when you're focusing too much on the scoop, that's all you're thinking about, and you are leaning a little forward. And if you have too much scoop, you're going to be scooping it too much, and that's going to shift your body weight towards your front foot, and that's no good. Those are some examples of what happens when you're leaning too far back. Yes, I did fall trying to film for those, and that's what could happen, But for solutions, if you're having any problems close to this, obviously you want to lean a little bit more forward and center yourself so that doesn't happen. But this also is kind of related to what happens when you're leaning too far forward. You may be focusing too much on the flick. Just how I said you might be focusing too much on the scoop, it's the same idea. If you're focusing too much on the flick, you might be leaning towards your side a little too much, and you may be like extending your front foot way out there, trying to exaggerate that flick, and that will bring your body weight further that way towards where you're flicking. So that will throw your body centering off and whatnot. So don't do that. Now for leaning forward and back, like on your heels and toes, that kind of forward and back, it's kind of self-explanatory. I mean, if you're on your heels too much, lean forward a bit. If you're on your heels too much, your board will most likely go in front of you, because if you're leaning back, your board will just naturally want to go in front of you. And if you're leaning forward, your board will go behind you. So I kind of trust you guys to figure that one out on your own. But I did try my best to match what those could look like. It's pretty difficult when you already have the trick. Alright, for this problem, it's a little more difficult to understand, but it's like how I was talking about before. It's that perfect timing. It's that you have to beat it before it gets 90. You have to it's just basically this problem happens when you're flicking too late. So you got to make sure you flick earlier. You either got to scoop it a little slower maybe, or you got to flick a lot faster. Although this is another thing I forgot to add earlier. If you do scoop faster, your board will naturally flip faster. And I know it sounds weird, but that's what I found out when I'm just trying this trick over and over, trying to help teach you guys it. You scoop faster, your board will naturally rotate and flick faster because your front foot's going to want to catch up to your back foot. So you guys can keep that in mind when you're practicing this trick. If your board's flicking way too fast, keep over rotating, over flipping, you guys could do that. Maybe slow it down, watch the board under you, just focus. This trick is pretty frustrating, I gotta say. I mean, it took me I don't know, maybe a month to learn. It's a fun trick once you got it down, but learning it can be very frustrating. Even just trying it over and over right now, I did mess up a couple times, and man, it got frustrating, But just keep trying it. It's a fun trick. I'm starting to try it down gaps and stairs. That one's scary, yeah. But yeah, good luck on learning this, guys. If you guys have any questions on this trick, comment below. I'll be happy to answer them. Probably answer it that same day. And if you guys want another trick tip, comment what trick tip you guys want below. I'll do my best. And for now, later.